Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away. Our bodies move to the groove and the light that flickers. We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker. But get away from the drinks and chatter. Haven't said a word, but it doesn't matter. Till the air gets thinner. Standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.
Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair. I'm driving down the highway, gonna do this my way. I can feel it in the air. Here I go.
Live from the Volvo 780 studios in anywhere USA. This is JJDrones Live. And now, here's JJDrones.
And it is JJDrones Live. But it's JJDrones Live After Dark. We're going to have some special guests coming up tonight. We've got Paul C. We've got Dan, the droning veteran. If you would like to have one of your videos featured on my website, you can go to Jason at JJDrones360.com. Send me an email. A real nice, long, nasty email. No, make it a clean one. I promise. I'm going to read it. And for everything JJ Drones related, you can go to JJDrones360.com. And if you would like to help financially support the program, go to paypal.me/JJDrones, or you can use my affiliate links on my website, JJDrones360.com, with a / Amazon 1. And now we're going to be joining the program with our very good friends, Paul and Dan. And then we're going to be bringing in Carl, who's going to be joining us on the phone. How are you doing tonight, gentlemen?
Oh, very, very good. How are you doing?
Are you feeling it?
I am feeling it.
The JJ Drones After Dark special. Because I have just been swamped.
Yes, you have.
It has been a crazy weekend. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Jason? Paul?
I am
Good to see
doing
you.
fantastic. How you doing, Paul?
Welcome, Ted.
Ted is feeling it.
Ted is feeling it.
That was just for you, Ted. Just for you, brother.
And I've got a complaint about Ted.
Oh, you do.
I
You do.
Now,
Okay,
you know
before
it, but I don't know if I'm going to share it or if he's going to have to wait until the video comes out.
Oh, well,
Hmm.
you really need to know, Ted, that Dan does have a beef with you.
You made me do something that I've never done before. Twice.
Twice in one day. So,
I couldn't
but-
believe it.
but Ted is not only off the hook, but he's on the medication, so he's not feeling well.
We'll give him a break this time.
We will. So, Paul.
Yes,
Oh, there you are. Are you on the CB?
exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to try and get... Ted says that it sounds like one of those numbers I used to call when I was younger.
This letter. Lou.
Oh, now Ted says he needs to know. Hey, Uper Road, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you being here. I don't expect there to be a whole bunch of people in the chat tonight. I'm just doing this video because it's going to be a fun video. It's not going to be a fun video. It's going to be
adventure coming to it.
There is going to be a crazy adventure. But I'm going to see if I can get Carl on the phone.
What's the old phrase? The freaks come out at night.
Oh, I mean,
Oh yeah.
I also come out during the day.
That is true.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's one ringy dingy.
Will Carl answer? That is the question.
What's up, brother?
Not much. How you doing, Carl?
I'm doing all right. Just driving in this ice and rain stuff.
Oh, freezing rain. Well, if the weather is too bad, let me know and we'll let you go. I don't
All right,
want
sounds
to
good.
I don't want to be taking your concentration off of the road.
Wait,
Sounds
you
good.
can't talk and drive in snow or something?
Well, he can. He did miss the infamous intro for JJDrones After Dark. So you're gonna have to go back and watch the replay when you're parked and try not to drink anything while you watch it.
It sounds good.
Yes, Carl, definitely don't.
At least, make sure it's Kool-Aid, if anything. It's Kool-Aid. Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I
He's
played
good at it.
I let Dan have a sneak preview on what the music was going to sound like for the JJDrones After Dark intro.
I was
And,
coughing for 2 minutes.
And you're gonna have to you're gonna have to excuse me because I'm eating my dinner too. So, but today we're going to be talking about our 50 tips for truckers, and you could say that 10 times real fast. But the reason that we want to bring this up, and I don't know how many of you know what's been going on in Wyoming this weekend, but in the state of Wyoming, it has been a disaster. There's been snow and winds, and they pretty much have had the state shut down for the entire weekend, probably since, what was it, Dan? Did it start Thursday night, or was that Friday morning that started?
Was it Friday morning
I think it was Friday
no.
morning.
or Saturday morning?
No, because I was in Utah Friday.
Friday. You got to Utah Friday night, and then you spent.
No, I
Saturday.
got into Utah Thursday night.
No, you did get to Utah Thursday. I'm
Right.
sorry.
And then
What was
Friday
that?
morning I was going to leave, but I couldn't because Wyoming was completely shut down. So it's been shut down from Thursday morning, maybe Friday night, until today. And it's still shut down as of right now. But I'm going to share some little bit of information with you that maybe you haven't seen yet. So give me 1 second when I hit the right buttons. So this first video that I'm going to show you is going to be a view from the Flying J truck stop. Somebody shared this with me on Instagram, and this is just going to be from the Flying J truck stop in Rock Springs, Wyoming. You can see all the trucks. They're parked on the exit ramps, the entrance ramps. They're parked underneath the interstate there, just everywhere. And then there's
No
the
place
truck
to go.
stops. Yep, they've got no place to go. These guys can't go anywhere. They're parked on the streets. They're parked in the truck stops. They're parked in the entrance to the truck stops. And whoever this is flying his drone just to kind of show you where all the trucks are parked. This is a small town in the middle of Wyoming. And they don't have the capacity to hold this amount of trucks. But they don't have another option. The trucks don't have another option. They have no place to park. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that one.
I got something to share if you want to show my screen whenever you're ready. Because
Well, let's hear it, Darth Paul.
I don't even have a thing to share your screen with, Paul.
I know. Hold on. There you go.
Darth Paul.
Now you
Darth
do.
Paul.
Exactly.
Which one are you going to show? Because I'm sure that we're probably going to share the same thing.
So I just want to point out, truck accident in Wyoming. Let me see. Where the worst one? This is actually the worst one. This is the worst one. If you just this crap will make you cringe. Just listen to this.
Now this is from 2015.
Yes, this is the worst one. Listen to this. Oh. It just goes. Look at that. You can hear it. It sounds like a plane.
It does. And nobody's hitting their brakes.
Oh. That is.
Now,
There's the
he's
ABS
hitting his
right
brakes there. You can hear the ABS kicking in.
Yep, but nobody else is. Oh, there he goes.
He is.
Too late. Yes.
By the time that you get to that point, it's too late.
Yeah.
This is how this happens.
This is what happens when guys don't have CB radios either and don't use them.
Exactly.
Don't
even give me the excuse about CB radios. I will fly off the handle and I will take you off the show.
Right? No, dude, that's our only communication.
No, it's not. It's not your only communication. Look at FedEx going there.
Yeah. Just
Trans Am.
Trans Am up in there. Just they're freight. Bunch of mystery trucks.
I don't see anybody with their flashers on. Nobody. Everybody's going too fast for conditions. Look at this guy.
Oh,
Sierra England and that guy. Then you got this guy.
Look at RNL. He's like, oh, I'm going to make it.
He may have his flashers on, but I can't see him because they're all covered in snow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's starting to jackknife.
Yeah, he's already sideways.
CRST goes off into the ditch.
Yep. Yeah, dude. This is it, it's ridiculous. Like, look, every year, freaking 2018, 2019, same thing. Wyoming. 8 hours ago, 880 shut down, multiple vehicle accident, winter storm, take I-80 and 25 closed. It's crap. Like, your roads suck. You need to, like, when you have a storm that bad then I've driven through this crap too before. When you have those storms like that, dude, they should shut that crap down. As soon as they know the storm's blowing in, they shut it down.
You can't do that though, Paul.
Why not?
Can't do that.
Why?
Because there's no way that you can say that this is going to happen absolutely 100%. How many times has a meteorologist came out there and say, we're going to have a snowstorm and you get a sunshine?
They have
Meteorologists are accurate 15% of the time.
When they have those wind warnings, how do they know the wind warnings are there? Right?
They guess.
What do you mean they guess? You're telling me they don't have wind things up on the hill up there?
Oh yeah, they have the winds things up there saying that the winds are coming, but they don't know that the snow's coming.
You
They
can't
don't know
tell-
for sure.
You can look.
You
on
can't
there.
tell me with you can't tell me with full certainty that it's going to snow tomorrow.
No, but if you know it the same day, like, oh look, that storm is actually going to hit, and you send out one person, a cop, to go check it out, and you know that the storm is actually hitting the freeway, just shut it down.
Paul, do you know how
Solve.
many states get snow in this country that don't shut
isn't-
down their interstates?
This is different.
No,
This
it's not different, Paul.
Wyoming wind between the
Give me a
wind,
break.
Wyoming storms, it's the worst, dude.
I'm sorry, Paul, but you know what? If they can't handle their state and how to remove snow from it, maybe they shouldn't be in power, and maybe they should find somebody that can clean snow off the roads.
It would be nice if they actually spent that money, but no.
They should. Here's what
What
happened.
we need is a tunnel.
They do need to.
Wyoming.
They just need to build a tunnel. Yes,
Yeah,
There you go.
tunnel.
Paul.
The only way.
Paul, here's what it looks like.
I told you, I was ready for war.
This is what it looks like today.
However, according to Carbon from the public safety side, wildfire care.
Yeah, I seen that one too. I was like, what? What is he saying?
I'm gonna back up because even the military is
I
not
see it.
safe
Yeah.
from this.
Well, that's a contractor anyway, but yeah, I've seen that green thing on the ground there.
Right there, that's a military vehicle.
Big old scrap metal now.
Yeah,
There's a
actually,
Ryder
now
truck.
looking at that, I'll bet you that-
Oh, look at that. Oh.
What do you say, Dan?
I said, looking at that now. I mean, I didn't see it earlier, but I'll bet you that was that. I can't tell what it was. If it was 916 or
It,
Let
it's
me
one of
back
what
those
it was.
super
But
long.
I'll
ones.
bet you it was on the low boy.
It had- yeah. That's
Yeah,
what
I
it was.
think it was. That was probably on the low boy.
Yeah, he rolled off. So you could see a
Yep.
chain. You could see a chain on the ground right there.
Yeah,
Yep,
right
it just
there.
rolled right off of it.
It looked like it had like 4 sets of axles on the back of it. Almost looks like a tow truck. How funny.
But
Damn.
you know, Dan, you said that 4 people were seriously injured and 1 person died, as of what you know right now.
That's what I heard on this one.
Wow. That's
Look at that.
nothing compared to what
You
happened.
can look right
And-
into the sleeper
And
of that
I'll
truck
almost bet that that's the fatality right there.
right there.
Yeah, probably.
Authorities have not released any information of injury. However, according to Carbon from the public safety side,
And this is just, you have to understand, folks, this is just a small portion. And I'm sorry, Carl, that you're not able to see this and you can't comment on it. But this is just a small portion of the mile or so long accident. Look at the truck right there sitting in the middle of the median. At least he ditched out and went down there, because the worst damage he's going to get is anything like an undercarriage damage type deal. But if you look from here,
down social media showed the semi piled up and seen about the interstate, well dozen more lined up behind him.
Just
The
look at
Wyoming
that.
Department of Transportation reporting that crash began around 1:30 p.m. 8 mile marker 260.
I mean, that's just unbelievable.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. And this happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Ted, yeah, that's what Dan's saying. Build underground roads for truckers below the frost line.
Right?
Hey, Frank, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate you being here. What are the authorities, or where are the authorities? Did they end up putting out an alert to the truckers or what? They just closed down the highway.
there's no system. There should be a system, but there's not a system.
There's a system, Paul. They closed down the interstates.
No, but a system to actually communicate with everybody.
Yeah, they've got the big, those big sign. I know that you've been away from trucking for a while, but there's the thing they call signs, and they put little messages on these things they call signs. And the drivers can actually read the words that are put on the signs so they know what the conditions are ahead of them.
Only if you English.
Oh, that's right. Only if you can English.
I speak now.
I'm telling you, Paul, the CB radio is not the solution to the problem. Training is the problem. The drivers that are getting paid by the mile, that is the problem. The 14-hour clock, that is the problem. That is going to be the problem no matter what. And the CB radio is not going to fix those problems.
I would still drive fast if I was being paid by the hour. So.
Well, that's just crazy. Hey,
Yeah.
Jeremy, welcome in.
Whatever.
Appreciate you being here.
Look at Mr. JJ acting like he wasn't a bad boy back in the day. Yeah.
I've always been paid by the mile. I'm not
No,
going to lie. I'm not
No,
going to lie.
you-
I was paid by the mile.
I'd say you're lying. Just talking about you acting like you've never done any of the stuff that I've done. Yeah.
I'm not saying that I haven't.
So that sounded like.
Just not admitting it. You know,
Exactly.
I've never done nothing wrong.
That's why with him being involved in safety, and I like, oh, it's so funny.
If you think about it from a logical perspective, if you are getting paid by the mile versus by the hour, you will take less risks if you're paid by the hour versus paid by the mile. And I'm not even saying paid by the hour. I'm saying doing like a set salary that you make the same amount of money whether you pull one load or 100 loads. You're gonna take less risky actions.
I would still hurry up to get to the place that I'm trying to go so I can hurry up and get to the next place so I can hurry up and get home. I'd still do that. Guaranteed. 100%. It's still hammer down. It's still hurry up. So it's kind of like in air freight. It was hurry up and wait. Same thing. I would still hurry up and wait. Got paid by the hour. I wouldn't drive slower. I'd still go fast if I could. And I'd still haul butt if I could. And I'd still just, all it would do is when I get there, I get the chill. So I'd still get paid.
Carl, can you help me out here, brother, and bring some common sense to this conversation?
Well, boy, where to start?
Hey, it's late night, man.
After hours.
Right.
After hours.
So I agree. The signs do help. I think CB radios do help. I think there's applications on your phone that you can use for weather reports, road reports on your area, local news. There's also experience that comes into play. I mean, there's a lot of different factors. I think a lot of these big pileups that happen, I think people just aren't paying attention in a lot of ways, and stuff like this happens. I mean, especially these areas with the winter time and stuff like that. This is nothing new. So why does everybody act so surprised when this stuff happens? That's my question.
Yeah, it happens multiple times a year.
And it happens.
Anytime's a storm.
Yeah, and especially in the middle or in the beginning of winter. And that's, I mean, no, Ted, you're fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with you joking about this. I mean, yeah, there should be a guy dressed as Sasquatch out on the road like a flag guy in those situations with a big red strobe light. Then maybe Paul would pay attention to that versus the signs.
I don't know about that.
Here's the time. No
So
joke
what
about
are your guys' opinions on how to prevent something like this? Okay, I've already given my opinion. Number one, you put all the truck drivers on salary. You eliminate the pay per mile completely. You make it illegal. Number two, you take and you get rid of the 14-hour clock on drivers, because once you stop or once you run over that 14-hour clock, you are illegally driving your truck. So I honestly think that those are the two things that first need to happen, and using the CB radio as a crutch as to why these accidents happening is just lazy opinions, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Well, I agree completely on the 14-hour. That 14-hour clock. If you need, you know, once you start your day, you have 14 hours, or you need to take a 10-hour break, and that is what I call horsemanarchy.
Yep.
Because I mean, sometimes you might need that 8 hour, or a lot of trucks. You know, a lot of trucks are that would help rush hour too if they got rid of that that 14-hour clock, because you know a lot of trucks are on the road pushing through the rush hour traffic, and a lot of them really, you know I do. I would prefer to be off the road during that time frame. Yeah, even though I'm a local driver, I still would prefer to be off the road during that local or that rush hour time frame, if I can avoid it.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to fixing hours of service, like if you get rid of the 14-hour clock, and or if you at least make it so that if you take off, like if you decide to sit for 5 hours, you should be able to stop your clock. Period.
Exactly.
If you know, and of course, it's still always going to be up to us whether or not we can actually take a nap or whatever. You know, so the one time that I did a very long trip in the same 24-hour-ish period, I pulled over and took a nap for a few hours, and then I kept going again. So, you know, it's like if you have the ability to take the time that you need, then that'll help solve some of the issues. Pay per mile, yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, all it would do is just changing the numbers, changing the way the game works. And somebody's just gonna have to put their foot down. It's just like having the shippers. Ooh, why am I frozen?
I don't know why you're frozen.
Cameron?
Dan's not frozen. I'm not frozen. You're the only one that's frozen.
Because you're Darth.
Because you're wrong.
Maul.
I'm wrong. I'm always wrong. I'm always right. What are you talking about? I'm right.
Ted wants to know what the regulations are as far as hours of service driving. Carl, you are a resident, almost expert. So why don't you give us the rundown on hours of service regulations?
Well, you can drive 11 hours.
Yep.
You can go up to 70. On duty driving. Total. But I mean, a lot of companies say 60, so there's no issues with hours of service. 10 hours off in between each shift. You can do 14 hours on duty. 2-hour extension. Now this could be different though. I've heard 2-hour extension for one time in 8 days, or you could use an extension every day, depending on the weather. If you're going to your home domicile, stuff like that. I would have to look that up again to see.
Okay, now the 2-hour weather exemption, as far as I know, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the way that it's been explained to me, is that with the 2-hour weather exemption, it only counts if, for one, the weather was unforeseen, and for two, if you didn't use all of your hours in your 14-hour clock. It doesn't extend it out to 16 hours. It only will add 2 hours if you ran, like if you didn't use all of your 14-hour clock.
Yeah, I've heard that also. I've had arguments with that also with a previous company with Central Dispatch, and I was struggling to get home. I called for an extension. They said, no, it was over. You knew this was coming. I was like, well, you knew this was coming too, and you didn't tell me to stay home either.
Right.
So, and I don't want there to be any misinterpretation, Jason, that the CB, I never said the CB was the only tool. I think it's a good tool to have. I don't think it should be the only tool that people should rely on.
Oh, I wasn't saying you said that. Paul said that.
And I'm right, so
You're
don't
right,
worry.
he did.
Yeah.
Paul said that, and he's wrong.
He agreed with me, though. That was one of the tools.
I mean, the CB has saved me Not
Yep.
necessarily from weather, but traffic.
Hell
You know,
yeah.
I was coming back from Denver on my way home, and I was coming northbound I-15 over the point of the mountain in Draper, Riverton area, and right before I got to Bangor Highway, you could start seeing the lights coming up, and luckily a southbound driver came to on the radio and says, "You don't want none of that," and I had to fight my way across 3 lanes of traffic to get that Bangor exit, and I did, and I know it saved me about 2 hours.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hey,
That's how
Paul.
it should work, baby.
Hey, Paul. You know what
Yeah.
CB radios are good for? I ain't got no on. Shut up, stupid.
Right here, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
More
That's
power.
the only thing that's on there is a bunch of truck drivers that are.
And a magic switch too.
It doesn't matter. The only thing that truck drivers use the CB for now is to go on and they talk crap, and then you got the CB Rambos out there that think that they're better than everybody, and then but when you're out there on the interstate where there's just miles and miles of nothing, everybody's on their phones. No one's on the CB. So how helpful is that?
Well, that's the problem. That's what needs to be part of that.
But it's not going to be.
It's
The
so
cell phone
easy.
has replaced the CB, Paul.
Yeah, but the cell phone is not about local communication.
It
It's
doesn't
only
matter.
about
It doesn't matter.
everything. And watching YouTube while you're not driving.
Doesn't matter. The CB has become completely irrelevant, especially on the open road.
Most new drivers don't even, and I'm not a bit, I've only been driving since 2015, but most new drivers don't even know what a CB radio is.
Yeah, which
Sad.
is freaking super sad. It should be mandatory in every freaking truck, period.
I agree.
Any over the road
100%.
truck, all day long. All day
Brake
long.
push supplies every one of our trucks with CBs.
Well, and then it should be taught. This is how you use a CB radio. We should. I'm gonna do a video. This is how to use a CB radio. This is how
Well,
and why to use.
You
a
can
CB
do
radio.
that. You can do that video, and it'll have less views than your last video. I guarantee it.
My
Because
last
nobody
video-
uses
all
it.
right, actually.
Nobody
Going
uses
after
them.
a Popular thing here. Going after the man.
Ted, as far as who regulates the hours of service, that's regulated by the federal government, and you have to follow the hours of service regulations in order to maintain your CDL, because it's all interconnected.
And here's the one problem with like that 2-hour exemption thing, and or the that they I think they had that when I was still driving. They came up with something where if you had to drive over or something and there's some bad weather, they give you 2 hours. I could just imagine if some accident happens within that period that you're in the courtroom and they're gonna go, well, you should have planned better, son. And if you did, those people wouldn't be dead. So therefore, sorry, you're going to jail anyway.
And that's why most companies won't let you use that exemption.
Yeah.
It's an insurance risk. It really is. Because any lawyer out there with assault is going to challenge that.
Yep. So annoying.
Okay, well,
Hey,
do
Jason.
truck drivers basically have a course that they have to go through each year? Yeah, Carl, go ahead.
So to touch base though on your hourly versus mileage pay, I mean it makes sense, but as a driver that's kind of currently both one. Now granted, I'm not over the road, broker stuff like that.
You work for Walmart.
No,
Sound like a Walmart driver.
but
Just kidding.
no.
Nah, it's
definitely not.
union.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
But
He's like Jason. Union driver. Making that big money.
right.
Go ahead, Carl. I'm going to mute Paul in
I-
about 5 minutes.
I don't see a lot of people it doesn't change the way people drive, whether paid by the mile or paid by the hourly. There's just, I think, a lot of the things that are happening right now is based on experience and the education.
Right, and that's why the first thing that I said was training.
Right, and you're right, training. But so didn't they change something where all drivers are to be paid hourly now?
No.
No.
What California said is that you can no longer be
Yes.
you can no longer be a lease operator, is basically what they said. If you're going to be a lease operator, you basically have to be a company driver. That's all they said.
Well,
It's
because
specific.
I know a lot of company drivers are doing that though. They were mileage drivers, but now they're hourly because only in California. So
Okay.
like some of the less than truckload carriers.
Okay. And that may just have been a switch that they made on their own.
Yeah. So what happened was it was the AB5 law is what kicked in, and it basically it didn't just screw the truck drivers, because they went after anybody who was, because what they were saying is there's companies calling people contractors when they're not contractors, right? And so what they did is they actually attacked all the gig workers with that too, because even though, well, the gig worker is a little different, but if you are a trucking company, you can no longer hire a independent truck driver. That's basically what it comes down to. So you either have to be an employee or you have to be your own company with all of your own permits. Like you have to be your own thing totally. You can't use my permits and my registration and that kind of thing. And you can't do any of that no more. You're supposed to be totally free from the company and not have that connection. Therefore, otherwise you're an employee. They didn't care. They just,
hey, Paul, I'll let you handle the question that's on the screen there. Can you read?
Actually, I was just about to type something. No, there's really nothing unless the companies do some kind of specific yearly or training or whatever. The government doesn't care. See, speaking of that, if the government really cared about the truck driver problem, what they would call it, and accidents and all this other stuff that they try to compare regular humans with that drive around with their cars that get into accidents, supposedly less than we do. They don't drive 3,000 miles a week. And so then you also get man, I just lost my freaking train of thought. I feel like, where's my lab coat? Damn it.
It was a short train.
You feel like Dan.
This is a very short train. But no, there's no training. There's no specific training that happens. It's really just the luck of the draw. Oh, I remember the training. If they really cared, they would fix the training that goes on from these big companies, because I was a trainer, and I'll tell you what they taught me was nothing of how to train somebody. Luckily, I had the smarts enough and drove locally and kind of had the common sense to actually know how to drive correctly and be able to teach these guys how not to crash and die and kill people. Plain and simple. And so I was able to teach them that. But the companies don't teach anybody this. It's they are more interested in spitting out the numbers than they are doing it right, so that these guys don't kill people and crash and everything else that goes on in this industry. And it's the stupidity that they let go they don't care. That's what's annoying. It's like, they say they do, but then of course they don't.
Hey, Carl, it's almost like there was somebody had a live stream several months ago about the training at big companies. Who was that guy?
Yeah, that was you.
That guy doesn't come to. I can't think of it.
Yeah, he said it was me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was a weird guy. It was a JJ.
Yeah, that guy.
JJ
Jones. Is that Jones guy?
Jones?
Yeah. Oh, Jones. Yeah.
Jones Brothers or something like that? Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, I kind of went off on CR England in one of my episodes. And then we went into the entire training the training organizations of the larger carriers, and we also went through the waivers that all the big carriers got that the smaller carriers don't get.
Yeah.
So you may want to go back and watch that, because we did go over all of that.
Right. No doubt. Hey, so you know why over the road drivers suck at backing up is because you barely ever back up when you're getting trained. And Jason, your last trainee, how many times do you think he got to back up?
He got
total?
to back up per trip about 20 times.
Okay. How long does it take for you to get good at backing up?
Now that is
Like
that's
a few hundred,
Jason's.
right?
But that's because because I make him go out there and I made him back up.
Yep. Exactly.
Frank says, I've seen some really bad truck drivers, and it's amazing how many do not know how to back up.
Mm-hmm.
And he even brought that up before you even said that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was reading that on your thing.
Yeah, there are a lot of bad truck drivers that do not know how to back up. And you'll go into a truck stop, and there'll just be lines and lines of trucks parked along the edges of the parking lot because they don't know how to back up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because these larger carriers just put somebody into a driver's seat, and all they have to do is go forward, and then the trainer will take over and back the truck up for them. And what good does that do them? Carl, would you like to make a comment on this?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with all that. When I was a trainer, the syllabus was it wasn't even a day of back-in. It wasn't even hours. And so that's where I implemented, they had to do 8 hours at least, yard patrol and, use the spotters and all that kind of stuff to work on back-in. Because, yeah, I agree. There's a lot of people that just can't back up.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. I mean, that you do the majority of your driving is going forward in trucking, but the most accidents that happen in the trucking industry are when you're going backwards. So that's why when I'm training, the majority of my training time I spend when we're not going forward is taking them into the back of and making them back up, because I want to make sure when they go out there on their own that they're comfortable enough to back their truck up, that they don't need a second person back there, that they have not only the experience, but they have the knowledge, and they have it's a late day. They're confident enough to do the backing, because you're going to back into different spots. Dan, how many times do you back into the same spot every single day?
I back into multiple every day, the same spots, but even and I'm pretty good at backing up a truck, and I'll admit there's days like what was it, Wednesday or Thursday of this week, I was telling you I had to pull up like 20 times, and I was like, what the
Some days are better nights.
I mean, there are days, but a lot of people, I look at when I'm backing up a trailer, I'm not backing up a trailer, I'm driving that trailer. When I'm steering my truck, I'm actually not steering my truck, I'm steering the trailer. And I'll try and tell that, like when I'm training somebody, I says, you're not driving your truck back there, you're driving your trailer back. And it takes a while. And it's funny too, because I think it took me about 6 months to finally figure it out. And it's like when that light clicks, it clicks. But it's just crazy how, I mean, even now I've actually gotten people's trucks and backed up because they just, I've tried to help them by guiding them back, and they don't listen. So
Exactly. Right?
I've actually hopped in people's trucks and backed their trucks up for them.
Yeah,
And
I like your phrase, Dan. I like your phrase of not backing up the trailer, driving your trailer. I like that, and I am stealing that, and I'm copywriting it, and is now mine. So congratulations.
all yours.
I never even thought about that either. I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that, because that is true. You're literally pushing a trailer backwards into a hole, so you're driving the trailer.
Yep.
You do that in high gear, right?
Absolutely.
Always.
Just checking.
And if you don't do 30 pull-ups, I mean, then you're Carl, because Carl, I mean, he doesn't even need to look. He puts a blindfold on, and it just magically puts it into the spot. Isn't that right, Carl?
Oh yeah.
That's why he's the god of trucking.
Right.
Does he drive those little tiny trailers, like those little 20-footers? Is that why he can do that?
No. Hey,
No?
Big Tiny, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. So
I drive the different combinations.
he does.
Good old combinations. Kind of like Oreos, double stuffed or not double stuffed. They're kind of
Yes.
like, yeah.
Yes. But so we went through a little bit of these tips for truckers.
Oh yeah.
And,
What were
and
those
I did mention that we were going to touch on some of this today, and we're in the last 14 minutes, kind of like last time. So we're not going to start all the way at the beginning. We're going to kind of take over where we left off last time.
Here we go. Hold on. I got an intro for you. Ready?
Safety on the road. Gosh. Oh my gosh, yes. Hey, how about number 9, drive at a safe speed? Paul, your thoughts?
What's the definition of safe?
I didn't expect that to come out.
I expected that to come from his mouth. I did.
Wink.
Drive at a safe speed because you have a schedule to keep. You might feel tempted to speed, Paul. But you'll lose a lot more time if the police pull you over for speeding. Stay under the posted truck speed limits at all times. Be aware that you will need to slow down even more when going uphill, or when going downhill, I'm sorry, because your truck will naturally speed up.
Why would you slow down on purpose going downhill? That's the only time you get to go faster if your truck's regulated.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Is it really going speeding if you're flying low? Oh, damn it. Anyways, what's the next one?
Well, Ted thought all you had to do is push a button and it parks itself. It does in the new Ford F-250 and F-350.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll even back up a trailer
They will.
automatically.
Big Tiny says there's no safe speed when you have a loaded box trailer with snow and ice on the road. Tap the brakes and watch the trailer wiggle.
Yep.
And
Right?
that's actually true.
Been there.
No, but
done
you don't-
that.
If you're pulling doubles though or triples, you don't look at the last trailer. That's
Okay.
code of trailer pulling. Yeah, I
Okay.
want to see this one. Auxiliary brakes.
I have a problem with this tip number 10, just like I had a problem with tip number 8. Tip number 10 is watch seat bills and use auxiliary brakes. Overusing your brakes may cause brake failure, which is extremely dangerous when driving a truck. If a hill has a steep hill warning or reduced truck speed, you should probably use your auxiliary brakes to protect your brakes. You should definitely use them on any hill with an emergency runaway truck ramp. Carl, what is the caveat on number 10 that is not here?
I honestly never heard of auxiliary being
Right?
used, and I don't know what caveat means.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're truck drivers here, people. Come on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Carl. Let me
We're not
let me
directors.
let me make this easier for you. Thank you, Dan. So auxiliary brakes would be your engine brake, Carl, and the word caveat means what is the thing that they're failing to mention within this tip for the drivers?
I don't remember all of what you just said, but don't you have to be going? You had to select the safe speed first.
Safe speed, correct. And then what about inclement weather? Should you be using your engine brake in downpour or icy or slick roads?
No.
I mean, this isn't even mentioned here. It just says if there's a steep hill, turn on your engine brake.
No, it
that's-
doesn't say
that's
engine
not the
brake.
case.
It says auxiliary brakes.
It's the same thing, Paul.
Does that mean your trailer brake? Like I've seen these idiots go down the hill. You can tell when they're owner operators. They sit there and pull on the trailer brake and watch the
Right.
trailer smoke, and there's no action happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that's what
maybe
you
that's
did.
Yeah, I know. Use the trailer brake so you save your brakes on your truck, right? I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, why use your engine brake that's literally designed for that purpose?
Even Ted knows gear down.
Oh, love that sound. Come on, man.
He says I'm not in. Ted says I'm not into fish eggs much. Caviar.
Caviar.
No big words.
There, see? Exactly. Don't worry, we're a tiny word show here.
Let's see here. Keep a safe distance. That let's see. Large trucks could need up to the length of 2 football fields to come to a safe stop. Whenever possible, you should keep plenty of room between you and the vehicles in front of you. Make wide turns carefully. Use your turn signal. Get rest.
Whoa, hold on a second.
No.
Has anybody ever measured the stopping distance? Is it really 2 football fields? I don't
It all
even like. Even at 65 on a flat lane.
I've always heard 1 football field. This is really taking it to a new level.
Oh, I've heard that forever. They've always said that.
Yeah.
Every book I've read.
Okay.
The only
Here-
problem with keeping a safe distance is, especially when you're in the city, you keep your safe distance, and
Until somebody cuts you off.
3 4-wheelers come into that safe distance spot.
You're gonna have to let me
Okay.
know if you hear the audio on this. This is from the FMCSA. Ready?
Click on the YouTube thing. Yeah.
When you're focused on getting through traffic, you still need to have a plan to keep everyone safe on the road, especially when it comes to large trucks and buses. They need plenty of space to slow down or stop. Truck and bus drivers can make a plan for road safety by staying a safe distance behind vehicles in front of them. Other drivers can plan to leave enough space and not merge too closely in front. Let's all plan to share.
How many times have you seen a car actually do that?
Very rare.
Sorry, I didn't mean to stop it, but
the road safely. Learn how at www.
I mean that doesn't really say anything about. I mean it. The step actually links to this website, and this doesn't say anything about. Well, it does say it. Number 2, be aware of long stopping distances. According to the FMCSA, from their website, it says large trucks and buses need the length of up to 2 football fields to safely stop.
What? I don't know.
All right.
Man, I wish I had a
Scroll up-
bigger-
Scroll
bigger
up
test.
just a little bit.
I wanna
Okay,
test
Dan.
that.
I think I've talked to you about this before, but if you can, right there, that little box right there in the behind the trailer.
Okay,
How do you tell if there's a car in there?
you hit the blinker switch.
Exactly.
All right, you hit the brakes, right?
Oh no, you just hit the blinker switch, because as soon as you hit the blinker switch, if there's a car behind you, he's gonna be like, and he comes out behind you and hurries up and passes you.
I always thought that was the drafting spot. You get behind up in there so you can get good aerodynamics.
Well, that's what
and go around the
That's
corner.
what they think. That's what they
Yeah.
think, and then they get behind you, but you hit your blinker, And 9 times out of 10, if there's a car behind you in that spot, they
Yeah.
will try and pass you because they do not want to be behind you.
Yeah, I think it's
they know there's a slowdown coming up or whatever, but
funny. I'd sit there and swing my tail a little bit just to watch them move, and it's funny how they go like this to follow you. It's hilarious.
Yep. And I've trained a couple of people and I've told them that little trick, and they didn't believe me. And I said, turn on your blinker, and they turned on their blinker, and I'll be, whatever, but not a bad. I'm not going to say a bad word, but they, they couldn't believe it. And then we'd be driving, I'm training them, and we're going down, and I'm like, he'll turn on, they turn on his blinker, and I'm like, why are you turning on? I just wanted to see if anybody's behind me. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Or if you pay enough attention, you'll know when somebody rolls up behind you.
Big Tiny says cars
Sometimes.
have always been 2 telephone pole lengths, so it would kind of comparable distance between car and a rig. And he says that he learned old school. Even in my vehicle, I turn my signal on and get distance between me and a rig after passing them. And that's the way that it should be, but that's not the way people drive today.
Right?
Let's get through a few more of these tips, because the law firm that did this was nice enough to put this all together. And I don't want to scrutinize it too bad, but I mean, some of this is common sense.
They should have talked to a real truck driver before writing all this.
Maybe. Getting rest is important. Eating healthy is kind of important. No, it's really important. Watch. Here's one that's big. Watch over-the-counter drugs and know their effects. If you're going to take an over-the-counter drug like Benadryl, or let's say that you're taking like Ambien or something to help you sleep at night. I don't know if that's even legal to take. But let's say you're taking melatonin to help you sleep at night. Don't take it while you're driving. This is all just common sense stuff. But Carl, do you have any tips for over-the-counter drugs?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the side effects or whatever. I mean, it makes sense.
Get them while they're hot.
Even take that stuff. But even I was really tired last week one day, and the caffeine pill was given to me. I didn't take it because I didn't know what the effects were, because things affect people differently. So I don't know. I choose just not to take anything. It'll just run its course.
Right. It says also here, take enough breaks. Just because you have to take a 30-minute break doesn't mean that you can't take, a couple extras if you need to get out of the truck. Just make sure that you're comfortable and that you're driving alert and awake. Wear comfortable clothing. Unless sandals, tracksuit.
I was just gonna say, it should say minus sandals.
Right. Yeah, you're not supposed to be wearing sandals. Dress like a professional. Wear a pair of jeans. Wear a pair of good shoes or boots.
No Crocs.
Wear a shirt. No, don't wear Crocs.
I hate Crocs, dude.
Don't drive like Paul. Don't wear Crocs.
They just look wrong.
I know you hate
I like
Crocs.
my sandals, but I don't
do.
do Crocs, dude. Crocs are just it's full of Croc. I mean, it's a load of Croc.
The professional driver outfit for the city of Chicago is Adidas tracksuit, a pair of sandals with socks, and Carl will be modeling that next week on the JJDrones program. Isn't that right, Carl?
Yeah, right.
Let's go.
Looking forward to it.
Hey, I was gonna say on the eating thing, you're only supposed to pull a double-wide trailer, not be a double-wide driver. Just what?
Well, I mean,
just
yeah,
saying.
that's probably true.
I seen that once. Some dude getting out of a Volvo truck, which happens to be like the tightest freaking big rig you could ever have, but the steering wheel versus where the seat is. This dude got out and he was huge. Like I was like, he was huge, and I'm like, how does he even pass any of the tests to even become a driver?
I
Like,
don't know.
It was insane, dude. Like it should not be. There's just no way. No way. That dude's like heart attack in the waiting.
Tip number 20: consider the effects of road vibrations. And I think this is a good tip. As you drive, your truck vibrates when it moves on the road. Those vibrations put stress in your body, which might be harmful over time. Get your body a break from these vibrations by taking occasional time off, or even installing padding on your seat. Carl, why don't you tell us a little bit about truck vibrations? And we're not talking about the good vibrations from the Beach Boys.
I was just thinking that song. It's in my head.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're all different sizes of vibrations. You know, I've been going over the road a little bit, you know, with a team driver, and obviously, you know, I mean, he's a good driver and tries to avoid the big stuff, but there's just some things you can't. Surprisingly, I sleep better with the vibrations on the bed while the truck's moving.
And that's why this is JJDrones After Dark.
Vibrating beds and everything. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, put extra, you know, seat cushions on, or I mean, I always wear work boots.
Yep.
But some people say, oh, you know, just wear shoes that way your feet don't, you know, with the vibrations. The boots might make it even worse. But I've always been a boot person, and you know, I wear the uniform provided, and
I knew it. You're a Walmart employee.
I've got a whole roll of smiley stickers over here, Paul, and I'm not sharing them with you.
Right? He's that dude that gets paid to sleep in the truck. Must be nice.
But yeah, definitely give your body a break from the vibrations of the road, and get out and take a walk around the parking lot, or just get out of the truck and move around. It's going to be better for you in the long run. We're going to go through a couple more of these, and then we're going to call this a day. Take break in parking lots or rest areas not on the shoulder. Dan, your thoughts?
Take breaks in the parking lots or rest areas? I'll agree with that. Not on the shoulder. It's so frustrating to see you drive down the road, and you know, you'll see all these trucks parked on the side of the road, and you don't know if they're broke down or, you know, need assistance. But 9 times out of 10, they're taking their 30.
Yes, and it's infuriating. If you're going to be on the side of the road and you're broke down, you got 10 minutes to put your triangles out.
It's an accident hazard. There was a friend of mine blew a steer tire in Wyoming. I can't remember where she was at. It was in between Evanston and Rock Springs somewhere. She blew a steer tire, and she pulled off as far as she could pull off to the side of the road, and she was beyond the solid line. So she was in the clear. She had her triangles out, and her husband even told her she was right by an underpass or an overpass, and she climbed up on the side of the road, or she walked back, you know, it was like 150, 200 feet. She walked back, and she took shelter in the underneath the bridge, and 30 minutes after she had parked, her trailer was rear-ended by another vehicle.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not worth the risk.
It's not. And there's so many people that they don't take breaks anywhere but the shoulder of the road because it's just convenient.
Yep.
And I'm going to let you comment on one more thing, Dan, before we close this out, and it's about having a dash cam.
Okay. What do you want to know? Dash cams are awesome.
It says, with any luck, you will never get into an accident. But if you do, you want to have camera footage of the incident, particularly if you aren't at fault. a dash cam can also be important evidence if someone burglarizes your truck. But you've been using a dash cam for quite a few, for quite a while now. So why don't you tell us your experience with the dash cams?
I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and honestly, it keeps me more. Having a dash cam keeps me more alert because I'm watching, and I have my crazy Utah drivers videos that I do, and all I do is I make a mental note. Okay, 8:30 a.m. All right, remember that, and then whenever I get to my next stop or whatever, I'll write down on a piece of paper 8:30 a.m. And I see something else at 9:10, I'll write that down, and sometimes I'll give a brief description of what I remember seeing, just so I know what to look for as I go through the footage. But dash cams have they will protect you, and I mean there is a downside. If you do something stupid, it could burn you as well. But
Not if you burn it first.
that is true. That is true, Darth Paul. That is why you're on the dark side.
That is.
But
Carl, do you have any thoughts about the dash cams?
Yeah, actually, I keep thinking about using one, but I've actually never used one before. The only camera I had was in a previous company that forced one in there. But it's on my list of things to buy. I just haven't done it yet. I know I should, and but yeah, I think it's a good tool to have. But I could see it making you a better driver also in a lot of ways. But I figure, one day every company vehicle is probably going to have one in there, so I don't know if I should waste the money on buying one right now.
I mean, that's a very good possibility. Just like speed limiters, they're all coming.
Oh, yeah.
So, anybody want to do some parting words before we close out JJDrones After Dark?
Hammer down.
Hammer down. I like it. I don't remember now. I'm having a Darth Paul moment.
Carl, do you have any parting words for our audience before we say goodnight?
No, I mean, obviously just it's wintertime, be careful out there and plan ahead, and just watch out for everybody else that didn't plan ahead.
Okay. Dan, did you want to say something about people driving with their feet up on the dashboard? Is that what you wanted to mention?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see.
You only need 1 foot anyway. They teach you to drive with 1 foot.
Yeah,
so.
That's all you need. 1 foot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a stretching mechanism.
But in all seriousness, drive with your head on a swivel. Whether you're driving a truck or a car, like my wife gets after me sometimes because we'll be going somewhere in the car, and she's like, "You could have went 2 times," and a lot of times I'm like, "Oh yeah, I don't have a 53-foot trailer behind me."
What, you go wide in your car? Is that what it does?
Oh yeah, everybody that drives truck does that.
Yeah.
Oh, I do.
I still do it. Here, I have a partying video.
Okay.
It's like 2 seconds. You should just put it on real quick. All right, ready? Set.
Yep.
This is why you need a dash cam, by the way. This is great right here. This is what happens.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. Right? I mean, come on, man.
Thanks for coming on, Frank. I appreciate it. Hey, Yads, thank you so much for coming. We are just closing out the live tonight. Thank you, everybody that's been in the chat tonight. Big Tiny, thanks for coming in. Frank, thank you for coming in. Yads for coming in. And Ted from Off the Hook Outdoors, thank you so much for coming in. And I think that was, we had Jeremy Nyant. I can't even pronounce that. I apologize, Jeremy. Thank you for coming in. And Rupert Road, I saw you in here earlier. Thank you for coming in. Everybody that's been here, thank you so much. And I want to thank Dan for Droning Veteran. Go check him out on YouTube. His link is in the description. Go check out Paul. His link is also in the description. Go check out both of those guys' videos. Great content, great guys, and great supporters of the channel. Thank you both, gentlemen, for coming in.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Jason. I appreciate it. It's good seeing
No
you.
problem. And then Carl, drive safe, brother. You know, the weather's bad. You know what you got to do.
Yeah, I do. Well, but yeah, I'll be safe, and yeah, I'm sure I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good, sir.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, I apologize to everybody that usually is on the earlier live stream that I do on every Sunday at 7 p.m. It was unavoidable for me to do it this weekend at 7, and so I did it as soon as I parked here tonight. But I do appreciate all of you that have been here tonight, and I hope all of you that are going to watch this on the replay really enjoy it. Leave some comments in the description below what you thought of JJ Drones After Dark. And maybe one of these days we'll do it again. But I appreciate all of you for coming along for this ride with me, and we'll see you later on down the road. Bye, everybody.